This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
It is something that can move our lives forward, but it's also something that's so challenging for many of us and for many obvious reasons. I'm referring to forgiveness. Once you make a decision to forgive someone, life can change. Forgive yourself. Why does it change? Why is it so important? We are going to talk with somebody who helps people heal from many challenges, whether it be trauma or just recovery work. She does all of that as just an amazing psychotherapist. And she's back with us, Dr. Hadass Hare, back on the program. How is things going with you today?
I am okay. It is so great to see you.
You too.
It's been a little while. Um, and I'm almost done being in Israel. I'm heading back in few days. So actually what really goes with the theme of forgiveness because I am closing up um a lot of stuff here. So it has to do with closure, also
Hmm.
achieving closure even when things are not ready to be closed. Even literally, I need to close up the place I'm at. So, yes, and forgiveness has a lot to do with closure and what it means to achieve closure. Um, and like what are loose ends and what are loose ends that you can live with um on
Hmm.
our ends and on other ends and what is right for us. um so it's really because ultimately forgiveness has to do with what we can live with. And the forgiveness that we get that gets talked about is Christian forgiveness, which sometimes is a little bit of an overkill because we let go of things in a way that is a sacrifice because some forgiveness needs to be earned. Some forgiveness reinstates people to the position of equals when they haven't earned our forgiveness. And that is not necessarily necessary. Some forgiveness needs to be earned. And sometimes forgiveness is really a matter of letting go because we should not be walking around with a grudge. Right? I mean, what do you think? Sometimes we carry a huge burden because we are not letting go. That is also a form of forgiveness.
See, I on the entire page here, but I've also heard that when you're forgiving, we don't condone when somebody has done to you, by the way, but it's
Exactly.
closure is a great word, but it's also releasing it from you. They don't even need to know that you're forgiving them.
Releasing it from you. But there is also forgiveness where you reinstate the offending party to full rights and responsibilities when they have made amends. That is another type of forgiveness.
How do you do that? Because let's say we'll just use an example. Somebody has done some horrible things to you. You know, you feel that you're a good person. You didn't deserve any of that. You don't even know why they did it, but it's been done. You don't even have, maybe you don't have connection with them anymore, but it still weighs heavy on you. How do you take that principle in that example and work toward forgiveness so you can move on with your life?
Well, there is forgiveness after atonement. If there was atonement, if there's indication that they have done something to atone for what they have done, that is very different forgiveness than forgiveness when nothing was done to compensate your heart and mind for what was done. That is different forgiveness.
How do you get to that point where you said compensate yourself? How do you do that?
Forgiveness needs to include some discernment. Forgiveness should not be happening at your expense. Basically, forgiveness should not be a form of secondary violation, which some of us were taught in childhood, um, kind of harmful forgiveness when we need to turn the other cheek, in a way where we are made less than safe. Because people can't be parading through our heart or through our safety zone. We need to, first of all, be always safe. And so people can't be stepping on our boundaries. They can't be stepping on what is okay to say to us, to do to us. So, and that is why people refuse to forgive, because they want to be safe and they want their dignity and they want to be honored. And so our honor should never be compromised. Once we are assured that we can continue to be honored, we can let go. We can let go from a good place because we don't need to continue to carry violations in a way that continues to burden us because we were already harmed once. We don't need to be perpetually harmed in a way that, in a way, labels the crime or the violation as something that continues to rent space in the center of our lives. We just don't want that to remain so central in our lives because it is really the past and it should go further and further into the past. In terms of our narrative, it really should withdraw into the past. That is very important to us as we go forward. I feel that
How
whatever happens should really continue to take a further and further um, past tense. So it's no longer center to our narrative, but that can only happen if we are secure, if we are safe, and we are no longer about that.
how do we get to that point? So let's say you've established that I need to forgive. It's going to move my life forward. I don't really care about them anymore. They did me wrong. It's just a horrible situation. They've already moved on. Don't even talk to them anymore. But how do you get to that point where you can effectively forgive, where you're feeling safe, where you have your dignity, and you make that conscious effort to say, okay, it's time to forgive. How do we get closer to that point where you're coming from a place of I'm in a better spot now. I'm going to be more intentional on forgiving.
Potentially even relabel the terminology. maybe not even call it forgiveness. I
Mm,
really feel that what I do with clients, I call it letting go because
mm,
forgiveness has a very chari- Christian connotation. And so forgiveness is charitable. If we forgive from a place of our generosity
mm.
and it labels us as charitable, then it's okay. But genuine forgiveness does happen as an act of generosity towards someone, and it's the offender. And then the offender needs to be a better person in order to earn that.
I see where you're going with that, doctor, and I I have to agree. I have to agree. Once you change the word, and it's almost, and there's nothing wrong if you go in that direction of forgiveness, but it also seems as if it's almost as if you're taking one for the team. Well, I'm going to forgive them, but it's like I feel I'm giving something up to forgive them. I know it's better for me. I might not even speak with them anymore. I don't even have to tell them I'm forgiving them, but it feels like you're giving a piece of you away to them where you want to forgive, so you protect yourself. But
Liberate yourself. If we forgive so as to liberate ourselves and to ease ourselves so we can lift and
yeah,
not carry this burden, that is a wonderful thing, but we need to very clearly label what we're doing. So we are forgiving so as to grant a self that freedom.
yes.
So we are very clear about what we're doing because complete forgiveness, as in classic forgiveness, where they have earned it, is a beautiful thing, but then they need to earn that. And so they need to work towards that. And so they can be reinstated into, I would call it full humanity and a position in our lives. And
I
if they have not worked towards that, then they cannot get that.
I totally see this in a different light. Um, you want to feel you've been done wrong. You want to feel that, for lack of a better description, you're winning a little. You're retaining something for you as opposed to giving some more back to them. But when we change the label instead of forgiveness, and we make it, I'm releasing them. It sounds like you're empowered.
Precisely. I am releasing them. I am a better person for having done that.
Yes.
I am earning some because I am the better person.
Yes.
I am
Yep.
absolutely a better person for having done that. But they are still in the wrong. They are still a sinner, so to speak, if we want to use the religion's terminology. They have earned nothing. They
100%.
have been
Yes.
granted nothing.
Yes. And
Uh,
using the word forgiveness, it feels like you're giving up a little bit more. You're really not. It's all for the better. And again, they don't even need to know that you are releasing them, but it just seems like it puts you in the driver's seat. I'm in control here. I've made the decision. It's time to release them. They can be gone now. They did what they did. I understand it. I learned my lesson from it. I believe everything is a lesson personally. And now you've released them. What was the other word you used? I'm using release. You said something else. I can't think of what that word was.
letting go,
Letting go. Thank you.
letting go. I often use letting go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm carrying nothing pertaining to them, and they are no longer part of my narrative.
Yes.
And I am free to go forward. And
But it,
I will have a beautiful narrative not pertaining to them, and I can really go forward faster and more beautifully beyond this.
we're splitting hairs here, but there's a lot in the words we use. And when I look at the words forgiving, forgiving, I'm giving. The word says giving. I'm giving you something, my attention, my understanding. I don't want to give you anything. You've already done enough.
Exactly. And it puts us in a very generous position, but that is okay
It is.
because it just puts us in a very it restores us to a person who is not so labeled by having been harmed that we're afraid to be given. It restores us to a person who's just randomly
Mhm.
generous.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And that's a beautiful thing.
there's nothing word with any and wrong with any of the terms that we're using, but I find that sometimes myself included have a little bit of trouble using the word forgiving, but the principle is all the same here. But when you use terms like release or letting go, it sounds like you're in control of it now. You're in control of it.
It's taking our power back.
Yeah.
And I think just because so many of us were conditioned in childhood, and so many of us as little kids were told to um, overlook offenses that were done towards us as if it didn't matter. And so we say, yes, it mattered very much, but we will do this out of choice and as the bigger person, and we will be a bigger person.
Mm.
And we will continue not out of lack of control and not out of giving up control, but out of actually taking control.
Yep.
And we will restore because being traumatized is a situation where we do lose control. And so we will completely take control and we will completely restore this as our narrative. And so many times in a situation of being traumatized, we sit around and wait for the other person to tell us that we actually get an apology from them. We sit around waiting for an apology for harm that was done to us by other people.
Don't waste your time.
So much, so much in situations of childhood trauma, we are waiting for apologies that will never come. Although people that have already passed on are much better when they apologize from spirit because they are so much better.
Sure.
And their character improves tremendously.
I don't
And
know
we
if you,
have such
yeah, I don't know. Do you believe in psychics?
absolutely. And I do some mediumship. And so I facilitate this actually quite often. And we get great closure that we don't get on the earth plane. Um, but people otherwise sit around and they wait for that closure that never comes. And it doesn't come until people pass on. And to take the control back and to say, yes, I was. And sometimes therapy gives you that apology that you never received because I can say, you were never a bad child. And I can say that where, that offender
Hmm.
never said that.
You know,
And so I am important and I have a PhD and I can say that and that trickles in.
you bring up a
And that's what
very,
the person needs.
this is a valid, very, very valid point that I believe many of us miss when it comes to forgiveness. But I believe deep down inside, many times we feel like we deserved what came our way. We don't want to admit it, but because of those traumas deep seated in us, we feel like we deserved what came our way, almost as if we need to forgive ourselves. But that is only going to happen with what you said in doing therapy to realize that,
Precisely.
yeah,
Someone needs to say, you were always a good child.
yeah,
You never deserved that. The people who told you you deserve these bad things, they were so mistaken. They were so wrong.
mm-hmm.
Why do you think I got a PhD? So I have credibility when I say this.
It's the truth.
I mean, seriously.
It's the truth.
I mean, I was already a therapist when I got that doctorate, and never mind when I started going and doing therapy with a PhD, but when I go to court and I say things and people listen to me, my clients just love that. When
All
I said you were always good and this was not your fault, they just really transform because I have a doctorate now. And
we're
I
out of
can say
time.
you were never bad.
We're out of time, but this is a pinnacle point you bring up. If I never saw it before, those things that people will do you wrong, and we need to forgive them. But ultimately, we need to forgive ourselves because I believe deep within us, we might not even see it, probably don't until you have therapy, coaching, other modalities, hypnotherapy, whatever. You're beating yourself up and don't even realize it because you felt that maybe you deserved the way that person treated you. No, you didn't. But you're conditioned to believe that through those childhood traumas. We're gonna put a pause button here. Wonderful realizations today, Doctor. How do we? Somebody wants to connect with you. How do they do that?
Well, it's that same number, 508 631 7649. And I'm right there. It's either you can call me, you can use WhatsApp, and I'm right there. And if people told you you were bad, if people told you you were wrong, it's all in the language. We can reverse it. You are good, you are right, and there are good things coming for you, and we just know it. And the future is fabulous. The future is just so good, and you deserve it. You deserve every bit of good thing that is going to come for you. And
Yeah.
Steve and I know it.
Deserve is a great word. We need to embrace it
Yeah.
and release the things that are around the word deserve that almost makes it to the point where it's hard to say it. Doctor, thank you so much for today. Truly appreciate it. A lot of realizations I think we've all had today, and looking forward next time we get together.
Yes. It was wonderful.
Okay.
Embrace the future that is just so wonderful.
We'll
And
be
a
right
lot
back.
of it is in the language.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.